All right, joining me now is the host of Megyn Kelly, The Megyn Kelly Show, my good friend Megyn Kelly. Megyn, we got to start with the amazing, shocking news this morning. We woke up to Tucker Carlson gone at Fox News. Now, I saw you said good for Tucker, big loss for Fox News. Explain that.
Well, he got fired from by all accounts, and I think it caught him by surprise. He wasn't expecting it. I believe, according to the reporting, that they were in the midst of a contract negotiation, and he got blindsided by them. And he's their number one show. He battles it out with the five occasionally. They go number one, he goes number two, and vice versa. So it's pretty stunning that they would pull the rug out from underneath the number one show on Fox News, the 8 p.m. show. And I think it's a sad day for Fox News, but I think it's a great day for Tucker because I think he will go independent. This is just my supposition that he'll go independent like I have. He will no longer answer to a corporate master. He will be free to say whatever he wants to say, within the bounds of defamation law, of course, and he'll be totally unleashed. And he leaves directly from his primetime post, so he'll have a massive audience that will be looking to hear him and follow him. And I think if you look at what's happening online already, there are a lot of Fox News fans who say, he was the only reason I was still watching Fox. And now you've taken that away. So it is a loss for Fox. I mean, I'm guessing, Eric, that their calculation is Kelly left. We fired O'Reilly, not to mention Greta. Shepard left. We did just fine. It's the Fox News juggernaut that puts points on the board, and the audience will get over it. And, maybe they can advertise that hour better without Tucker because he was controversial and he was such a target for the left that the show did not make a lot of money in terms of advertising. You can't get a Mercedes or an Amex to advertise in an hour like that just because he's been made into such a pariah. So it could be pure financial calculations. They'll do better with a new host there, and what their audience wants, too bad.
Yeah, you think it's that? The company puts up, I think, $1 billion in profit, not revenue, in profit a year. I'm a skeptic. Some would say that I believe this, and finally Tucker may be feeling the same thing that I felt, and maybe you have felt. Weigh in on it. But Fox was moving to the center. They were trying to be, more of casting a wider net to catch more fish, and that would include liberals and leftists. I mean, a lot of people are pointing to Paul Ryan on the board as a big reason why Tucker's not there anymore.
Well, one does wonder because, I know Rupert and Lachlan, those are conservative guys. I'm sure there's very little that Tucker said that they had a problem with. I know the left wants to say, this is where he went too far. No, that's not how the Murdochs are thinking. But they're businessmen. So I'm looking for the business reason, and did the board pressure them? Because it's not all Rupert's company anymore. He owns the majority of the stock, but there are other owners too. And he has a board now that gets to weigh in on the decisions. And who knows what they're thinking about the future of Fox and where they want to take it and what they want to do with it. And, from that standpoint, they might want to cut ties with somebody like Tucker, who they think is too far to the right or too much of a populist or too much of a Trump defender. But if that's true, why is Maria Bartiromo still employed, right? She was more of a Trump booster than anybody. She's been a lightning rod, and she, unlike Tucker, really did get them in trouble in this Dominion lawsuit. And this, so to me, so far, it doesn't make sense. But my tweet was more about how Tucker will do just fine in the independent space, and he won't have to answer to anybody's board or any of this BS anymore. And speaking just for myself, it's absolutely wonderful to be out of that kind of massive corporate thumb, where somebody's not controlling you and you can just have an honest relationship with your audience. And if they tune in, it's because they like you. If they tune out, they don't. Fine. It's very real, the relationship. It's not just they're watching you because you followed O'Reilly or something like that.
Right. So there's some late reporting just as we came to air that Suzanne Scott and Lachlan Murdoch, Rupert's son, who has a huge hand in Fox News, everything Fox News, decided on Friday night that was going to be Tucker's last show. Now, there didn't seem like there's too much in Tucker's last show that could have be seen as the straw that broke the camel's back. I will note, however, Sunday night, 60 Minutes did a whole thing on Ray Epps in January 6th. They pointed the finger at Tucker quite aggressively. So did Ray Epps himself point the finger at Tucker Carlson. And then later on in the same show, they talked about the big 500 or some $787 million settlement that Fox signed the check for, also pointing the finger at Tucker. Is it something like they just were tired of hearing Tucker's name associated with bad things happening at the network?
I don't know. But I mean, it could be, right? None of us knows, but I doubt it because the Murdochs don't scare particularly easy. You know, that's not why, if you just watch Succession and see Logan Roy, the real Rupert Murdoch is a lot tougher and scarier than Logan Roy is. And he didn't get to where he is by getting scared by 60 Minutes reports or AOC or threats of lawsuits. Some people are saying this one young woman's lawsuit of a disgruntled ex-producer who worked for Tucker and Maria. She's filing claims, that it was a toxic work environment. Are you kidding me? You know how many people have sued Fox News alleging toxic work environment, a hostile? Come on, that is not. They wouldn't fire their number one host over that. I mean, don't make me remind you what happened with Bill O'Reilly and all the settlements he paid out, and they kept him employed in that 8 p.m. spot. That's not how Fox News operates. It's got to be something more. Some people are saying, well, maybe there were some texts in the context of that lawsuit which didn't reflect well on Rupert. Oh, come on. He's not a baby. Rupert doesn't need his belly rubbed. He understands people have strong feelings about him, even somebody like Tucker. So even that scenario makes no sense to me. The only thing that makes sense to me is dollars and cents. That's how they operate that channel. And if there's pressure from the board, if they're worried about shareholder lawsuits, if they think that the channel will do better, let's say in terms of a sale, if it returns to more of a center position like it once was, as opposed to, somebody who defends Trump or somebody with Tucker, who questions the war in Ukraine and things like that, then I think they would be quick to fire him and they would have no loyalty to him. And to me, that's where the smart money is.
Megyn, what about Suzanne Scott? I mean, her name was bandied about as she was going to likely, or a lot of people have speculated that she was going to be the one that was going to be shown the door in light of, or in the wake of the massive Dominion settlement. She's part of the decision-making process, according to the reporting, to oust Tucker. My question is this: is Suzanne Scott still on the chopping block? Are there others? You mentioned Maria Bartiromo. Some would say Jeanine Pirro. Are there other axes to fall, so to speak, with Fox?
So that would be, my question today on my show was, if this is about Dominion, what are those three women still doing there? Why would Tucker be the first out the door? Because Tucker was the one who said, Sidney Powell's full of BS. Like, why are we listening to her? She's a liar. But Maria was platforming Sidney Powell and Giuliani and some of these claims, and so was Jeanine Pirro. And Suzanne Scott was one of the main people on the air who was saying, don't fact check these claims and so on. She's the CEO. She wasn't on the air. She was behind the scenes. So if this is about Dominion, it doesn't make sense. So I don't think it is about Dominion. I find it very hard to believe that it's about Dominion. But, if you're looking for accountability, I don't see how you escape Suzanne Scott. She would be the first to go if I were Rupert Murdoch, because all this happened on her watch. Everything, the Dominion stuff, the Smartmatic, all the controversies that have come up. And the thing is, you and I both know she makes no decisions. She has no power there. It's a Murdoch who makes the decisions, or the main talent. She's just a yes woman either way.
And that whole infrastructure never liked Trump. I just have to question: does some part of this have to do with Trump? They never, from the top down, never saw him as a president in 2016. Never liked it. Certainly,
and they've
don't
moved on
seem
from
to
him
like
for
it
sure.
now. And they have. Megyn, can I talk about Don Lemon? The other kind of cable news, earth-shattering news that came out today. Don Lemon, I think, is less of a shock to anyone, but he was ousted at CNN for making, I guess, a bunch of misogynist comments over the years, but especially recently the one against Nikki Haley. Your thoughts on Don Lemon's ouster?
I think it was just death by 1,000 cuts, Eric. I mean, every week there was something new with that guy. And I mean, it was to the point where when Chris Licht took over after Jeff Zucker was booted, Don Lemon actually went on the air to openly remind everybody, I'm black and I'm gay. Just in case you didn't remember, I'm black and I'm gay, and Jeff Zucker put me on the air. I mean, it was an obvious play, like, you can't fire me. And you know what? Lo and behold, he was right for quite some time. But even Don Lemon met his match because his misogyny spilled out into the open. And look, I'm not somebody to constantly say patriarchy and misogyny, but this guy's history is as long as it could be with his sexist comments. And then there was a Variety report detailing how, as far back as I think it was 2008, he was co-anchoring with Kira Phillips, reportedly. Don Lemon denied this, but He was cyber stalking her with a phone. He was sending her nasty text messages, threatening her. She had to get HR involved. They figured out it was Don Lemon texting her from a burner phone. They demoted him off of the show. I mean, so this has been going on for a long time. Then he sits down with these other two female anchors. Now, one's running off the set crying. Another one's complaining every other day. One of them had to dump her shared agent with Don Lemon because he was abusive and she realized it was divided loyalty. Then the Nikki Haley comments. Then just last week, he snapped at Poppy Harlow again because he didn't like the fact that she gave a longer goodbye to Vivek Ramaswamy in an interview. I mean, it's just every week there's something with this guy. And they try to move him to mornings to make him softer, more approachable, Eric. And mornings, you're looking to like find people who like each other, not such like crusty, nasty, bitter dude who's ripping on the women next to him, who he clearly hates because they're women and because he hates them personally. Like, it wasn't going to work. There's no other place to move him but off of CNN. So it was absolutely the right move, and it was totally overdue.
Well, I'm thrilled you're here, Megyn, to break it down with us. Appreciate you. Megyn Kelly, host of the Megyn Kelly Show. Always good talking to you, Megyn. Thank you.
My pleasure. Good to see you.